Hello and welcome back to Prehistoric Relations. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is on Chapter 2. You and Dawn, and apparently Vince, had just arrived at your first class, with the blue T-Rex looking, professor, who saved you at the cafe when Vince decided to, be a little bully. Emphasis on the little part. But yeah. So, let's continue and see what happens. You're the professor? I mean, I had a sneaking suspicion, but I didn't want to believe it either. We just casually bumped into our professor last night. The universe sure has a sense of humor. Finding out that he's my professor suddenly makes me lose interest, especially because of how much I hate college. If you're done freaking out in front of the class, then I'd like to get started, Sam. Tyson's voice was stern and unmoving. My heart sinks a bit as Vince and the rest of the class chuckle at my little outburst. You're embarrassed yourself on the first day. Good job. Sam, you're causing a little commotion. Let's just calm down and lay low for the hour. Tafu rests his hands on my shoulder and gently gives me a little squeeze to help me relax. It helped me a little. A little. I can already tell this semester is going to be hell. The rest of the class goes smoothly, but I can feel Tyson's gaze on the back of my neck. He kept trying to lock eyes with me, but I always stared back down into my book. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. Tyson rambles on his first lesson, talking about social interactions in the human psyche. It's interesting and all, but who am I kidding? It's far from it. The class drags on because the front row of students are asking dumb questions so that Tyson can speak with them. They're all mostly freshman girls. What a bunch of simps. My mind wanders to the walls. Sam! I hope you're not dozing off into the wall. Oh no, of course not. There's no way I doze off during this very interesting seminar. Then could you answer the question I just asked you? I look at the board, and he's scribbled down a question. Tyson gives me a stern look, not saying anything. That might be the only truthful thing you've spoken in my class yet. It takes a lot of bravery and nerve to proclaim such a thing. I'm surprised you got it right. I have underestimated you. Or maybe you just got lucky from rambling a word. You could have majored pretending to pay attention, Sam. That's the last time I doze off in front of him. Vince lets out a loud laugh, unable to contain himself. You best behave while you're in my class. I will not tolerate any of your mockeries here. Do you understand? Psst, whatever. Vince looks away from Tyson, rolling his eyes. Tafu and I chuckle as I turn to look at Vince. We lock eyes. In that second, I can see wrath and vengeance. At that moment, I knew I wouldn't be safe from him. Keep to yourself, Raptor. I have my eyes on you this semester. Was Tyson doing this for me or because of last night? The class ends, and as everyone gets up to leave, Sam, come up and see me. My heart drops. Was I going to get it? I dozed off for a second. I couldn't be in that much trouble. All the students that were leaving shot me dirty looks, maybe out of jealousy. I could have sworn I heard them mumbling, "You're in big trouble." Tafu comes up with me. I did say just Sam. I'd like to talk to him for a minute, if that's alright. Tafu whimpers. I'll be right outside, alright? Tafu leaves, and it's just Tyson and I in the room. Alone, despite being my professor, he's not bad looking in the slightest. Might I say downright handsome? You're doing it again, Tyson says, interrupting my thoughts. I'm not gonna say that. Stop being sorry. Be better. But thank you for being honest and humble with me. You have something on your mind, so please be at ease with me. I am your professor, but I do care about the well-being of my students. My heart jumps a bit, but more out of surprise and understanding. Maybe you don't want to talk about it. We don't have a relationship yet after all. But if you do need someone to talk to, I am more than happy to set aside time for you. Relationship? I'm not sure what he means by relationship. I thank him, give him a soft smile, then head out to meet with Tafu. I can see why everyone loves him. He's charismatic and soft-spoken outside of classroom, but he takes his teaching seriously. Hey, you're back so soon. Hopefully you weren't chewed out? No, it was anything but that. He was just trying to pick at my brain. Maybe that's just his profession speaking rather than his heart. Regardless, I can't be slacking off in front of him. We start to head home, being that my only class today is finally over. I only have a few Gen Ed classes I take with Tafu, since he's off taking his major requirements already. Must feel nice to know what you want to do already. Makes me feel alone. From my peripheral, I can see Vince glaring at me with those fiery eyes. I gulped. Here he comes, Tafu. Well, well, well. You've got some nerve laughing at me in there. Ah shit, here we go again. Vince backs me into the building wall, leaving me nowhere to hide. And Tafu is just watching, frozen at what to do, like it's a damn TV show. Why isn't he doing anything? Vince starts winding up a punch, and I close my eyes, bracing myself. Smack. Tafu? I open my eyes and see a blue hand grab the raptor's small fist. No, but I can't help but overhear a certain scumbag yell from outside the building. Tyson locks eyes with Vince. Their size difference is laughable. Tyson lifts Vince up from the waist, leaving Vince almost 4 feet above the ground. Tyson tosses Vince to the side. His small body collapses on the ground. As Vince tries to get up, he trips over himself. Watch yourself, Sam. The professor can't look after you forever. And just like that, he's gone in a flash. What a man-child. Honestly, that guy's such a mess. My head is everywhere after that interaction. He does what he wants without any repercussions. That's what's wrong with that guy. Tafu looked defeated after his statement. Vince comes from a wealthy family. Not only that, he's the star player on the university football team, and the university values him. How unethical for the university to protect him. But of course, it makes sense. Schools are businesses, after all. I'm glad you think that. This school, like many top-tier schools, are businesses in the end. And what brings in the most money at this school isn't research or anything educational, it's the sports department. The school funds so much of its money in the department, and they gain so much more. In the case of Vince, losing a star player in the team can cause a lot more damage to the school's finances than actually dealing with him. He's free to harass and bully, and he's keen on you, Sam. What did I do? My head starts racing at all the possibilities that Vince can hurt me. Because you laughed in his face when others wouldn't. He wants to put you in your place, make an example of you, I'm sure. Tafu starts to tear up. What's wrong, Tafu? Seeing Tafu cry makes me feel something inside. Is it my affection for him? It's the second time I stand there, helpless, while you're here almost taking a punch to the face. I can't do anything. Tafu, teary-eyed, runs off in the direction of the dorm. You help your friends, Sam. If you need anything, you know where to find me. And with that, he walks to the parking lot and drives away. I make my way home, hoping Tafu is back in our room. He's a big old softie and there's nothing wrong with that. He's so hard on himself. All he does is study and work. I'm sure he's the most stressed out between the both of us. I wonder what I can do to comfort him. I'll invite him to the cafe. He loves coffee. I walk up to our room and see a giant lump under his sheets. With a body that big, you really can't hide from anyone under the sheets. What should I say to Tafu? Be honest. Tafu, Vince isn't going to leave me alone, it seems. This is my fight. Please don't worry about me. I'm also your friend, and it would hurt me to see you get hurt because of me. I'd never forgive myself. Tafu emerges from under the sheets like a snail. Thank you, Sam, he said with a weak smile. Well, let's go to Concha's Cafe and Chisme. It'll be my treat. Tafu bolts out of the bed and gets dressed rather quickly, especially for one his size. Haha, he's so cute when he's motivated and giddy. Maybe Sebastian can get us some blended drinks again. Let's make sure to work your charm out there in front of him. Alright, Sam? I feel the heat rush to my cheeks. I don't know what you could possibly mean by that. Honestly, Tafu, where does one get these silly ideas from? I give an unconvincing chuckle. You're not a very good liar, and that's something coming from me. Anyways, let's head out. I don't want to come back to the dorm so late at night. Who knows what kind of people emerge from the woods around us. We walked into CCC. The fresh pan dulce hits you straight in the face, but it's so pleasing and different that it feels like a kiss from the air. Seems like it's a busy night for Sebastian, Sam. Look at him move back there. Sebastian is moving and twirling behind the bar. He's going from the espresso machine to the register with elegant movements. Look, Sam, he's making 4 drinks at a time, and he doesn't look like he's breaking a sweat. We queue up to the line, and I start to get nervous, but what's there to be nervous about? He's just some saber-toothed tiger. He's got nice gold-colored fur, with nice green eyes and a sexy accent. Mira quién es, ese cocodrilo inadvertido y su tiburón de novio. Tafu, not understanding a single word Sebastian said, says jokingly, "See." The saber winces, baring his fangs. He looks frustrated and a little hurt. You can see a vein bulge near his forehead. "You think you're funny? No tengo tiempo ni la paciencia para explicar una lengua común a 2 tontos. Qué pena ser estudiantes de una universidad tan prestigiosa, pero no le vale la pena aprender una lengua que no es inglés." He says under his breath. He calms down a bit. "If you came here for trouble, clean the blood after. I don't want any stains on my floor like last time." The saber lets out a low growl. I look at his name tag. His name is Benjamin? Hey, Benjamin? I'm at a loss for words and very confused. "Do you have a problem with my name?" The saber looks offended. No, not a problem at all, Benjamin." "Perfect. What am I getting you to tonight?" He keeps that professional smile. Tafu looks at me, gives me a nudge and a wink. Yeah, I think it's better to play it safe. I motion Benjamin to come closer. The saber looks at me for a second, but seems to humor me this time and leans in. "I know you don't do this, but can we have 2 blended drinks, please?" I smiled at him, casually, nothing more. The saber is taken aback. He gives me a look, but at this point, he could be feeling anything. He's so unpredictable. You've got guts, kid." He gives me a smirk and a smile. "I'll humor you this time. I'll call it out as an iced coffee so no one catches on." Tafu and I stand to the side, Tafu giving me a thumbs up. "I have 2 iced coffees for an, handsome?" He looks my way and gives me a little wink, and he seems to chuckle under his breath. He leaves our drinks at the handoff area, and we scurry to grab them. Tafu and I head to vacant seats, recalling our day so far. "Tyson seems like a nice professor, don't you think, Sam?" Tafu looks at me curiously. He literally yelled at me in class. "What are you talking about?" Yeah, sure. Don't tell me you're falling for our professor." Tafu seems to be in his own world, not paying attention, holding his hands to his cheeks, thinking about the professor. "What's he all about?" I felt a hand on my shoulder, and a body swiftly jumped next to mine on the sofa, sitting right next to me. Benjamin? "Don't wear it out. So, what's up with Sharky over there?" "Shouldn't you be working?" "This is my shop. I do what I want. Now answer my question." He can't stop thinking about our psych professor. Apparently everyone's into him. The Don snaps out of his daydream. "And you're probably the biggest fool. He clearly has an interest in you, Sam." Benjamin leans in close to my face, and my heart starts racing. "Are you interested in your professor, Sam?" His glare pierces my soul, and before I can muster something ridiculous... "Interested? In my professor? Did I stutter?" No, of course not." I break out in a cold sweat. Why is he looking at me like that? "Sam, are you?" "Hola, Fernando, mi gatito Pulgoso." This giant buff wolf announces himself into the coffee shop. He wears a biker jacket and has piercings on his ears. He's clearly huge. I can't stop staring at him. "Pinche madre, ¿qué haces aquí, perro?" I've never seen Benjamin. Wait, no, Fernando? The wolf makes himself comfortable next to Tafu, getting awfully close. Tafu frozen in shock. "Oye, gatito, te estuve esperando en el coche para..." The wolf gives him a wink. I'm trying to make sense of what they are saying. "Leave, Pulgoso. Go be abandoned somewhere else." "It's good to see you too, gatito," he says and winks, unshaken from the saber's yelling. Fernando bares his fangs at the wolf, ready to pounce. Oye, aquí. Ay, Fernando. Ya sé que no te puedes controlar cerca de mí, pero enfrente de tus amigos? I see your smile hasn't been aging well. He looks at me, his hands covering the side of his mouth, facing Fernando, whispering, but loud enough for him to hear. Get a load of this guy. He chuckles. He extends his hand out to me. Me llamo Cuauhtemoc, but please call me Temoc. Everyone seems to have trouble saying the name after all. I don't bother repeating the name, I would have just butchered it horribly. I go and give him a handshake, but he grabs my hand with both his hands and shakes it energetically, his tail wagging. He's charming. I let out a smile, and I could tell he notices it. You got some nerve to be befriending Sam right in front of me, street dog! Temoc doesn't even turn around to look at him. Don't mind him, he doesn't know how to act around me. I am, however, a dire wolf, not a dog. Looking at him closely, his fur coat is well kept, and space gray, and his face fur is purple. Temoc notices me staring into his eyes. Pretty neat, huh? Heterochromatic, blue and yellow. Bet you don't see that every day. Fernando grabs Temoc's shoulders and forcibly turns him around. The two start bickering over one another, speaking the same foreign language, and they just don't stop, like a couple of parents. Finally, I yell out. Who are you two? Their attentions turn to me. We're trying to enjoy our coffee and you guys are just going at each other's throats. They both turn towards me, their face twisted in anger, and give me the nastiest looks. It's getting dark out, don't you think, Sam? Let's get out of here. Tafu grabs my hand and rushes us both out the doors, heading back to the bus terminal so we can catch our next bus back to the campus. What was that all about? Something about those two doesn't sit right with me, and that wolf. I recognize him from somewhere, but barely. It's a faint memory. They don't seem to be the best of friends. Tafu lets out a sigh. Our bus comes around and we ride up to the main campus, now just for a short walk back to our dorms through a path in the forest. So, which of the two do you fancy, Sam? I'm sorry? I see the way you look at them. You have a type, and it shows. You know you can talk to me about these things. Well... I'm not gonna lie, I like both of them. I have an obvious affinity for Fernando. Big cat, saber-tooth. But I like Temoc, too. I like the flirtiness, but I like the Fernando-ness. I'm gonna go for Temoc. That Temoc guy. I know I've seen him somewhere before. I just can't put my finger on it. But his voice is soft and mellow. And his eyes are gorgeous. And if I'm being honest, those piercings compliment him. And his pecs are huge. Tafu is looking down to the ground, not even paying attention to what I'm saying. I look over at Tafu, and he seems down after our conversation. But there's also this Don, who has a heart of gold and wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's such a dork as well, and it's really cute seeing him excited when I treat him out. Tafu gives me a big ol' smile and wraps his monstrous body around mine, squeezing me. I feel like he can break my spine at any moment. He puts me down and we continue down the path. We can see our dorm from a distance. About time. The school sure is beautiful, but all this wilderness and walking on dirt paths really is killing my calves. Haha, if it's any issue, you can hop on my back. Eh. My face turns red with embarrassment. Did you hear that, Tafu? Is that a bunny? Or a serial killer, maybe? That's quite the imagination you got there, but we are in the woods. It could be a wild animal. Tafu shrieks his lungs out. What was that about? Suspense! In case we die, you know. A figure comes out of the shadows and approaches us in the moonlight. He looks like a triceratops. I don't mean any harm. He reassures us. The name's Brad. You like what you see, Prince? He looks directly at me, still flexing his muscles. My name is not Prince. Oh, I know. I am uncomfortable. Tafu keeps a sharp eye on him, and he pulls me to his side, putting me behind him. What do you want from us? Tafu speaks calmly and slowly. Your name is Sam, right? He exclaims to me, completely ignoring Tafu. And what of it? I saw you stand up to Vince back then. You've got spunk. So then, what do you want from me? Tafu pulls me in as close as I can get. Huh, nothing at all. I just want to get to know you. He flexes his thighs. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. Do you want to... Tafu finally breaks the awkwardness and yells out. Sam isn't interested! Even some airhead like you should take that hint! Tafu pulls me and puts me on his back and ran back to our college. I've never seen this side of Tafu before. He looked so red and furious. Brad didn't follow us, but something tells me he already knows where I live. Tafu and I scurry into our room, and we lock the door and bring down our blinds. What's his deal? He's on the football team. Oh, is he? How do you know that? Regardless, he sounds pretty lame to me. He was wearing a Letterman jacket. It was pretty dark, but I was able to take a glance at his clothes. You should stay away from him. Not that I care for him or anything, but why? Because he's a friend of Vince. Well, shit. Chapter 3, still not used to it, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. So, you can get a sense that these chapters are a little, short. But yeah. So, oh look, the barista is finally in the picture. So, we got to be introduced to one of the other characters that I'm assuming are gonna be able to, you know, pick a route with. And that would be... I'm not gonna pronounce his name again because I already forgot how to pronounce it. Cuauhtemoc? I hope I said that right. But yeah, the wolf. So it appears that he's a bit of flirtatious with everyone. Or at the very least, he's a bit flirtatious with this dude right here, the Sabertooth, who apparently keeps changing his names. But I'm pretty sure it's Fernando. But yeah. So what did you think? What do you think so far, I should say? Who is your favorite character so far still? Is it still Don? Is it Vince? Is it Fernando? Or are you suddenly sprung for the wolf? Temoc. Personally, I like the wolf. I like that little flirty behavior. But in real life, I probably would be like super turned off. But like, for fantasy's sake, I'll roll with it. But yeah. I also don't like Fernando's hot and cold attitude. Like, either be into me or don't. So yeah. You know, don't be so to sundry about it. But anyways, so yeah. Thank you all for watching / listening. And if you would like to play Prehistoric Relations yourself, you can find it over on itch. And because I actually haven't checked because I recorded the first episode and this one back to back, if the creator has a Twitter page, I will post a link down to it in the description. And if they have a Patreon, I will post a link down to it in the description as well. And I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.